What's up, YouTube? Fat Kings Phil coming at you for my week 40 update from vertical sleeve gastrectomy back in July of 2013. So this is going to be the first week where things start to change a little bit in my videos, and we'll talk about that in a second. But because of that, we're going to do things in a little different order here. I did want to do one quick shout out. Roundman Disappears. Definitely somebody you should check out. Liking his videos so far. And yeah, he's done a lot of work pre-surgery and lost quite a bit of weight. So check him out. Cool guy. All right, let's get straight into the numbers because we're going to do this in a new fashion. I'm going to hit numbers early. For those of you that come along for the numbers, great. This will be right up front from the beginning. So here we go. All right, day of surgery, weight 332.8 or 151 kilos. Today is 218.6 pounds or 99.2 kilos, which is a 0.4 pound gain or a 0.2 kilo gain. And that brings me to 114 total pounds lost, 114.2 or 51.8 kilos. That's the reality of it. I suspected a maintain this week. That's really a maintain in my book. Yeah, technically it's a gain. But I'm not worried about it. I had some unusual foods this week. So I'm thinking that maybe some extra water retention along the way. I wasn't expecting big losses this week. So that's where we're at, and I'm not too worried about it. Still got 8 pounds to go to goal, 8.6 pounds now. But that's okay. That's my goal weight, at least I think. When I get there, we'll see if that's good or too low or not low enough. And we'll be talking about that as well. So that's the long and the short of it, boys and girls. The journey continues in that respect. So as I'm getting closer to goal, or as I realized I was getting closer to goal, I was starting to think about some of the things that I put on the back burner that I maybe didn't necessarily want to deal with because I wanted to focus on just the weight loss piece of the journey. I wanted to make sure that I hit my goal. And so why was my weight goal important to me? And we've talked about this throughout the journey that I didn't know what my weight goal was going to be. My doctor wanted it to be 250. I thought 225. As I got closer to 225, I realized that wasn't enough for me. I didn't feel right at that goal. And I didn't certainly feel like I looked the way I wanted to look. So 210 kind of became my new goal. I was always ambiguous about it though. 215, 210, somewhere in there. 210 just sounded good. And then I figured at that point I would adjust my calories up a little bit, try and find my neutral buoyancy, if you will, to where I stopped losing. And I imagine I'd ended up maybe getting to 205 in the process of trying to figure that number out, or, being right in that range. So if I was between 205 and 215, I would be fine. 210 would be my green, 215 would be my yellow, 220 would be my red. In other words, if I hit those weights, it's time to get a little more extreme in my eating and things to maintain that, because much like less of Sarah, I don't feel like I'm a success unless I can hold this weight for 3 to 5 years. You're in that 210 range, or I'm okay with gaining weight so long as my body fat percentage is going down and my lean muscle mass is going up. So I'm okay with that kind of a weight gain, but that's very different, right? So these were some of my goals. Okay. Why do you need a goal, right? So goals are just how I'm wired. I'm a very goal-oriented person. I don't take failure well. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So I am always setting milestones, goals, whatever you want to call them, for my life. And they could be a ton of things. They could be in all aspects of my life. I have goals. The problem with goals can be twofold, however. Sometimes you get a goal, once it's obtained, it loses all the meaning and you're just looking for the next fix. So somebody might say, oh, if I could have that car, I would be so happy. And then they get that car and then they're like, oh, well, now I need something more because I got that. I don't want it anymore. That's human nature, right? So I had to start thinking about, excuse me, there's a lot of pollen in the air and it's been causing me to cough a lot, but cough, sneeze, you name it. So goals in general, those kinds of goals are quick fix, quick reward, and then you want something else to fill that void. It's like a fix, a drug fix. You want more and more and more. Life goals, bigger goals, directions that you want to take your life in are much more grandiose goals. They're life journey types of things. So There's been a lot of talk about goals in the community, and mainly because of the video I mentioned last time, which was Sarah's video, which I had the luxury of talking to Sarah on chat before she put the video out, and she kind of dropped that knowledge on me based on a conversation we were having privately. And it really got me thinking that, wow, I'm really close to this weight goal, this number goal. And obviously the next thing is to maintain that weight. So that's another goal, right? But what else along the way of the journey did I put on the back burner, maybe not deal with? And is it time to pick some of that stuff up? And how did that impact me? How much of that stuff that I backburnered was because of a life spent overweight, perceptions, reactions, beliefs, choices? How many of those things did I make because I was overweight? Now that I'm not, does it make a difference? And is overweight a physical thing, just a physical thing? Or is it an emotional and mental thing too? I tend to think the latter. As a matter of fact, I know it's the latter. I grew up fat. I know that it's the latter. I told somebody recently, when you grow up fat, you see human nature for what it is, and it ain't necessarily pretty. I don't think that most people are good people. I know that sounds terrible, but I've seen enough of it to know that, people just make their decisions based on a lot of immediate input, and we as a society say, oh, it's terrible. You shouldn't judge somebody by the color of their skin, their size, their this, their that. Horseshit, it happens. And I'm sorry if you don't, the swearing bothers you. I'm sorry. And quite frankly, if anything I say bothers you, there's an unsubscribe button. You don't have to watch. I don't make these videos per se to appease everybody. I make these videos, for me to kind of vent my thoughts and have a record of my journey. And two, that I do know that certain people identify with my journey the same way that I identify with their journey. And maybe these videos give us, each other's thoughts and spark other thoughts in us when we watch each other's videos. If you're not getting anything from my videos, if I don't bring anything to the table for you, don't watch them. That's not a problem for me. I don't mind. I don't take it personally. I don't watch everybody's video out there every week. It's just some people I just don't connect with. That's okay. Somewhere along the line, maybe the journey changes for that person and we're not sharing the same types of big long-term end goals. I don't watch anymore. It's not that I don't like the person anymore. It's not that I just don't identify, and it's not challenging me. And this is, again, it's a selfish journey. I hate to say it, but it is. This is about me getting a piece of my life back on track, or not back on track, on track, period. And what that has done with my perception of possibilities and probabilities and a ton of other things that we're going to start talking about in these videos. And here I am almost, almost 7.5 minutes in, and I haven't even really gotten to that. So we're going to talk, I'm going to start breaking down. I watched Sarah's video and I recapped it and I took notes. I know some of you maybe missed the point of that. And I've heard some people say, well, you're using it as an excuse to not make your number, or your, the number is the most important thing. Maybe the number is the most important thing for some people. I don't think that's what Sarah was saying. Sorry. She wasn't saying that the number is not important. She still has full intention of getting to her goal weights. But along the journey, she realized it was bigger than just the number. Yes, the number is important. Yes, being healthy is important. Yes, not being fat anymore and being happy with what you see in the mirror is important. But along the way, I also realized that there is so much more to this. Stuff I don't want to deal with in a lot of ways. Stuff I didn't even realize I needed to deal with. Stuff that I was surprisingly comfortable with dealing with and was glad for. So I think we're going to start talking about those things. And especially as I get to my goal weight and we start moving into the whole maintenance phase, I want to talk about what it means to be in maintenance for me, how I'm maintaining that, what I'm doing to get into maintenance. But I also want to talk about the mental piece, because I went into my doc recently, and like I said, we did the numbers, and she had mentioned, hey, maybe it's time to start doing some of that mental work. So I did schedule some time with a counselor just to see, hey, let me bounce some of this stuff off somebody who's been through this or has had experiences with other people who have been through weight loss surgery, and see what kind of input they have. Because I've only known being fat, and I've only known the things that come with being fat and the perceptions I have, and I still carry around those second nature types of things. Do I put them down? Do I use them to enhance my new physique? What do I do with that? I don't know. That's the part I need to figure out for me. Maybe you guys have it all figured out. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm not doing this for anybody, but really for me. And if you happen to identify and be like, yeah, I'm having the same problem, Phil. Hey, what are your thoughts on it? Great. Watch the videos. If not, don't. So that's kind of where we're at. So I broke Sarah's video down and some response videos down into some of the questions that people ask. And I thought about those questions. And I thought about them a lot. So I think each video I'm going to tackle one major topic, and then we'll maybe make a 4 or 5 series. Next 5 videos of mine, I'll get through all this. What I want to cover today, I think, is why did I really have surgery? This is why I had surgery. You may have had it for a different reason. I spent a good portion of my life doing the work and not getting the results. Especially after I got older. So I can remember eating Slim Fast behind the school gym in junior high school at lunch because I didn't want anybody to see me eating the Slim Fast pudding and further point out that I was different. I remember pushing myself as hard as I could to get better my time around the school track every other day, to push myself to get better and better and better, even at the weight I was at. And we're talking about when I was in junior high and I had a waist that is equal to or bigger than my current waist now. I can't remember if it was 36 then or I was past 36, or I couldn't get into 36s. I know 36 was significant though. So that's, and I really, to be honest with you, 36s on me are a little big right now. So that's kind of weird to me. Okay. So I was doing the work and not getting the results. I spent 2 years in the gym working hard, eating 1,200 calories a day. And I'm sure people thought, I mean, they would see me working out and they would just scratch their heads. I could see it. And they're like, how is that guy still that big with the way he's working? And I'm sure they thought I was going home at night and eating pizza and donuts and cakes and candies. And I wasn't, man. It was 1,200 calories a day and not a damn thing moved. And I was working out 5 days a week. Now, granted, I couldn't push as hard as I do now, but I was still showing up and doing the work. So that was one of the reasons I was kind of at the end of my rope. It was a last ditch effort in life in fighting a war against myself and my body. Now, I finally found a doctor who recognized the fact that, hey, yes, you are one of those people who have a metabolism that is such that you're going to have to eat a hell of a lot less than 1,200 to lose weight. And you know what? He was right. But I told him I can't eat 800 calories a day and not be miserable. And he said, you can't do it with a full-size stomach. He was right. I couldn't. I tried. I did it for a very short time. Didn't last. Couldn't keep it up. And, you know, I probably didn't have enough knowledge to know the things I should have been eating to enhance those 800 calories. But now I do. Now I eat about 900 calories a day. And I know what to eat. And it's working. You know, the tool makes it easier for me to maintain that. But I still have to choose the right foods. So, you know, I can still eat ice cream. No problem. We all know this. I'm not telling anything to anybody who isn't in this community already that doesn't already know that. So now I have an appropriate size stomach for my metabolism. So now I am a normal person, if you will. In other words, I can diet and lose weight just like a normal person. I can exercise and lose weight just like a normal person. But I needed this smaller stomach to do that. And if that makes me normal, then fine. That's my normal. I'm cool with that. But if I tell people, oh, well, I had surgery, I can tell them all the things we've talked about this before. I can tell them all the things I'm doing. And they were like, wow, that's great. That's great. That's great. And I also had this surgery to make my stomach 70% smaller. Oh, and I don't like that. I hate that. I hate the O. Okay. Not the O, but that O. So anyway, see, I can never be totally serious. All right. So that's kind of where I'm at. I had accepted being a supporting actor in my life. I was the comic relief. I was the wingman. I was okay with it. I kind of just accepted it. You know, when I was younger, you know, that's just how it was. And, you know, I just kind of accepted being that I'm never going to be in the starring role, if you will. You know, I'm never going to be the guy. I'm always going to be the guy behind the guy. And that was okay for me. But was it really? I don't know, because there was some bitterness behind that, I think, that even I didn't recognize until it was kind of gone. And again, we'll talk about that piece a little bit later down the line. But I talked about the fact that I don't accept failures very well in myself. I've always set the bar very high for myself. So people have always underestimated me because of my weight, and therefore I set the bar much higher. So I will live at a higher level. I will expect more of myself than I will expect of anybody else to prove that I can do anything and more and live a more rigorous life. Who am I proving that to? I don't know, me, I guess. I guess it was the way to give myself value because I didn't feel I had value from anybody else. Maybe. I still do that. I still set the bar very high for myself. I'm kind of comfortable with that, but I don't think it's necessarily healthy. And I think that's one of the things I'm going to have to address, to be honest with you. I can think of, I've failed 3 times in my life, 2 of which I went back and corrected because I couldn't live with it. So I failed algebra trig several times, and I'm pretty sure if I went back now, I could probably do it. But after 3 tries, I realized algebra trig wasn't for me. Not a big one to lose on in life. My marriage failed. And I went back and I remarried the same woman after several attempts to fix it. And I'm not sure if what that says. I'm dealing with why. And that's going to be a big topic in a lot of ways, because that's a very complex thing that's got a lot of facets, and it's got to do with love, it's got to do with practicality, it's got to do with kids, it's got to do with family, that's complex, right? So there's going to be a lot of digging, a personal digging in my life I'm going to have to do to kind of get to the bottom of all that. Suss it out, as the Aussies say. I'm going to have to suss that out. And then the third thing in my life was my weight. I kept failing over and over and over and over. Do you know what kind of hell that is when you're just, I guess you guys do, but to do it over and over and over, it's just miserable. And, so I got to a point where I struggled. Do I guarantee the next 10 years of my life with my kids? So they need me for the next 10 years. I talked about this on the Sides Queen Saturday show. If you saw it, if not, well, you're going to get the second version here. I need to be here for the next 10 years to get these kids up to college and on to adulthood. So do I just hang in there for the next 10 years? And if I die after that from weight? Or do I do something for me to guarantee that maybe I'll be there for 25 years? Or at least give me the option to be the lease to be here for 25 years. There's no guarantee I won't walk out the door tomorrow and get hit by a truck. But that was true, of course, when I was overweight. So but the quality of those 10 years was always in my mind. Like I knew it was going to get worse. There were going to be comorbidities. There was going to be 10 more years of self-doubt and self-loathing and second guessing and second-class citizen emotions and all these things that go with being overweight. So I struggled with that decision. I was leaning toward not doing it to be here for the next 10 years for my kids. And then after I did the homework and dealt with all the emotions, the irrational fears and all that stuff, I decided to lay down on that table and have it done. That's a big thing, right? We've all been in there, or we're in the process of doing it. It's scary. Go watch my other videos. Go watch the first few. You'll see me struggling with it. I have pre-op videos all over the place. So that's that. And then, there is a part of me also that felt like having a more attractive body, having a more masculine body would make not only me feel better about myself, but would make my marriage better, would fix problems that are in my marriage, that would fix attraction issues, that would fix intimacy issues, would fix a ton of things I may not even go into in these videos, but these elements, like they would make things better. It would make things easier. It would make things, it would even the playing field a little, between my wife and I, and the desire would be equal. It would be mutual. That didn't happen. It hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's changed a little, but these were expectations I had going in. And now how do I process all this? How do I deal with this? These are the things I now need to address. So those are the things that are on my plate right now. And those will be the things I'm trying to tackle probably over the next 6 months. I don't know, year, who knows? Maybe less, maybe more, but I think it's time to pick them up. And that really speaks to my bigger goal. I want to be a better me. I've always wanted to be a better me. Every day I get up, I try to be a better Phil. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I succeed. Courage is just standing back up, dusting yourself off and saying, I'll try again tomorrow. I didn't do it today, but I'll try again tomorrow. So that's kind of where I'm standing. And that's kind of how a lot of these videos are going to go moving forward. We're going to talk about these bigger issues. If I get some kind of clarity on these, I'll share it. If I get some thoughts on it, I'll share them. Maybe they help you, maybe they don't. All right, we're at 20 minutes. I apologize, way over. I promise the next few won't be this long because I won't have 7 minutes of intro in them. So that's where we're at. Next time we're going to talk about, am I proud of what I've done on this journey so far? And boy, I'll probably think of some more stuff between now and then. So in the meantime, guys, thanks for hanging in there. If you did, we'll catch you on Fat Kings Friday with our guest host, Lauren, and our mystery guest, whom I will announce tomorrow. So keep your eyes on the Facebook feed. All right, guys, until then, remember, it's good to be the king.